Have you ever wondered why some souls seem to effortlessly attract every blessing they desire while others struggle endlessly, even when their efforts appear identical? The ancient masters knew a secret that modern minds have forgotten, an invisible force that Paramahansa Yogananda called the divine magnetism dwelling within every human heart. This is not about manipulation or external techniques. This is about awakening the dormant spiritual power that already resides in the deepest chambers of your consciousness, waiting like a sleeping giant to transform every aspect of your existence. What if everything you've been seeking has been avoiding you not because you lack worthiness, but because you haven't yet activated the inner force that naturally draws blessings toward you like iron filings to a magnet? Throughout his profound teachings, Yogananda revealed that we are not mere physical beings stumbling through a material world, but divine souls temporarily housed in flesh, each carrying within us the infinite power of the cosmos itself. When you strengthen your inner magnetism, you align yourself with the very laws that govern creation, becoming a conscious co-creator with the divine rather than a helpless victim of circumstance. This magnetism operates on frequencies invisible to ordinary perception. It vibrates in the silence of meditation, pulses through sincere prayers, radiates from a heart purified by selfless love, and amplifies through unwavering faith in the benevolent universe. The tragedy is that millions live entire lifetimes never knowing they possess this extraordinary capability, never understanding why their deepest aspirations remain frustratingly out of reach despite their sincere efforts and good intentions. The Master taught that your thoughts are living forces, each one carrying electrical and magnetic properties that either attract or repel the circumstances of your life. When your mind becomes scattered, filled with doubt, fear, and contradictory desires, your magnetism weakens and disperses like water poured onto sand, leaving you powerless to draw the blessings that the universe stands ready to bestow. But when you concentrate your mental energy through meditation and positive visualization, when you harmonize your will with divine will, when you cultivate unshakable faith and practice the presence of God in every moment, your inner magnetism intensifies into an irresistible spiritual force. This is not mystical fantasy, this is the practical science of consciousness that yogis have tested and proven across countless generations, the same principles that allowed Yogananda himself to manifest miracles and transform lives wherever his consciousness touched. Consider the great souls throughout history who seemed to bend reality to their vision. Were they simply lucky, or did they understand something fundamental about the nature of consciousness and creation? Yogananda taught that luck is merely the intersection of preparedness and divine law, and that anyone who properly develops their inner magnetism will inevitably experience what others call miracles, but what is actually the natural result of aligning with cosmic intelligence. Your current struggles exist not because the universe withholds its blessings, but because you have not yet learned to tune your inner receiver to the frequency where divine abundance continuously broadcasts. Every prayer you've whispered, every hope you've cherished, every dream you've nurtured, all of these have been heard by the infinite consciousness, but you must strengthen your magnetism to actually receive and hold the blessings that have already been sent your way. The transformation begins not with external action, but with internal revolution, with the courageous decision to look within and activate powers you never knew you possessed. Yogananda's teachings offer you the precise techniques to amplify your spiritual magnetism through Kriya Yoga practices that scientifically accelerate your evolution, through devotional surrender that opens the floodgates of grace, through service that expands your consciousness beyond selfish limitation, through affirmations that reprogram the subconscious mind from patterns of lack to patterns of divine abundance. This journey requires dedication and sincerity, but the rewards transcend anything the material world alone could ever offer. You become a conscious channel for divine blessings, not just for yourself but for everyone your life touches, radiating the magnetic presence that transforms darkness into light and impossibility into triumphant reality. Most people move through life unaware they are broadcasting electromagnetic frequencies with their consciousness. Yogananda taught that every thought, every emotion, every belief creates a magnetic field that either attracts or repels circumstances with mathematical precision. When you vibrate with doubt, fear, and unworthiness, you create an energetic barrier that pushes away the very blessings you seek. This is not punishment but cause and effect at the consciousness level. The universe responds to your internal conviction about yourself, far more than to your words or actions. When you feel unworthy, you naturally repel opportunities. When you internalize limitation, you become invisible to resources that could transform your life. Most spiritual seekers remain frustrated because they try to change external circumstances without first transforming their inner magnetic frequency, like rearranging furniture on a sinking ship. The tragedy is that millions pray sincerely, work diligently, and maintain good intentions, yet remain trapped in cycles of struggle and disappointment. Yogananda revealed that this suffering exists not because the universe is unjust, but because humanity operates in ignorance of the fundamental laws governing manifestation. Just as a person who does not understand electricity might live in darkness despite being surrounded by power sources, so too does the spiritually unaware person live in scarcity despite being surrounded by infinite abundance. Your current reality is not an accident but a perfect reflection of the energy you have been broadcasting. This recognition is empowering. If your consciousness creates your circumstances, then transforming your consciousness gives you complete control. The moment you accept this radical responsibility, you transition from victimhood into conscious creatorship, and your entire relationship with reality fundamentally shifts. Yogananda taught that consciousness operates through layers vibrating at different frequencies. When you operate from physical and emotional conditioning, you broadcast a weak signal attracting only limited experiences. But when you operate from your spiritual essence, you become a cosmic broadcaster, and the universe opens its infinite storehouse to pour blessings through you in ways your ordinary mind cannot fathom. Ordinary magnetism is fragmented across thousands of conflicting desires and fears, creating a confused signal that attracts confused circumstances. Yogananda taught the science of concentration, not rigid mental effort, but luminous meditative focus that holds a single frequency with unwavering clarity. When your consciousness becomes unified like a laser, your magnetism intensifies 10,000-fold. The masters understood that human beings are essentially spiritual antennas, capable of tuning into any frequency of reality they choose to align with. When you live in constant mental noise, jumping from worry to desire to regret to fantasy, you are like a radio rapidly scanning through stations, never landing on any signal long enough to receive a clear transmission. But when you discipline your consciousness through meditation and purposeful thought, you lock onto a specific frequency, and suddenly the universe can deliver clear, powerful responses to that signal. This operates through resonance. Your consciousness vibrating at a particular frequency causes similar frequencies in the universe to respond. When you cultivate gratitude, you vibrate at abundance frequency and attract abundant circumstances. Every moment in deep meditation recharges your spiritual battery, amplifies your magnetic frequency, and subtly reorganizes your entire life toward greater coherence and attraction of blessings. Before attracting genuine blessings, you must become a vessel capable of holding them. Yogananda taught that most people are pouring water into baskets full of holes. A person racked with guilt cannot hold joy. A person consumed with rage cannot attract peace. The first work is not accumulating blessings but purifying consciousness, sealing the leaks through which your magnetic energy constantly disperses. Purification begins with honest self-examination, acknowledging the patterns where you leak energy through judgments, resentments, shame, and the gap between your public persona and private reality. Certain emotions act like rust on a spiritual antenna. Resentment fragments your consciousness, unforgiveness creates internal division, fear scatters your energy. Yogananda taught that forgiveness is not a moral virtue but a practical technology for recovering your magnetic power. Many seekers misunderstand purification, treating it as harsh self-criticism or punishing themselves for imperfection. But Yogananda taught that true purification is gentle and compassionate. It is simply the recognition of where you have been unconsciously sabotaging yourself, followed by the loving commitment to make different choices. You are not trying to become someone other than yourself. You are removing the accumulated debris that has covered your naturally radiant essence, allowing your inherent magnetism to shine forth unobstructed. Purification also requires moral foundation, genuine alignment of your actions with your deepest values. When you lie, you create internal dissonance that weakens your magnetism. The person who lives with integrity develops a coherence of consciousness that is extraordinarily magnetic. As you remove obstacles through meditation, forgiveness, and integrity, your inherent magnetism spontaneously strengthens, like removing clouds from before the sun. Yogananda taught specific practices to cultivate spiritual magnetism. First is deep meditation, not scattered wandering but concentrated Kriya Yoga techniques, where consciousness withdraws from external senses and contacts the infinite energy constituting your deepest nature. Every moment in this contact recharges your spiritual battery and amplifies your magnetic frequency. Second is constructive thought, deliberately training your mind to broadcast abundance rather than scarcity, possibility rather than limitation. This means directing attention toward genuine gifts in your life rather than what is missing. Third is service, turning consciousness away from self-interest toward others' well-being, which naturally raises your frequency and strengthens magnetism. Fourth is devotion, consciously aligning your will with divine will, synchronizing with the highest frequencies available. This positions you as a channel for divine intention rather than isolated ego. The devoted practitioner experiences a paradoxical liberation. By surrendering personal control, they gain access to infinite cosmic power that their limited ego could never command alone. Fifth are affirmations and visualizations rooted in Yogananda's teachings, reprogramming your subconscious mind and rehearsing reality at consciousness level before physical manifestation. These practices gradually rewire your entire being from inside out. The key is consistency, practicing daily even when you see no immediate results, trusting that each session accumulates spiritual power that eventually reaches critical mass and transforms your entire experience of reality. When you cultivate inner magnetism through consistent practice, something transcendent begins happening. People behave differently around you. Doors open without knocking. Opportunities appear you could never engineer through effort alone. This is not luck but the natural result of broadcasting a clear, powerful signal into a universe that responds with mathematical precision. Yogananda taught this is supernatural, operating according to higher laws than crude physical mechanics. Awakened magnetism affects internal experience as well. You naturally experience greater peace, spontaneous joy, deeper compassion. Fear loses its grip. Doubt dissolves through direct observation of consciousness affecting reality. The person with awakened magnetism becomes a center of spiritual power, influencing everyone without effort, broadcasting wholeness, peace, and authenticity that others magnetically recognize as real. What appears as miracles to ordinary consciousness becomes natural when you understand these laws. Yogananda demonstrated this throughout his life, manifesting resources when needed, healing through spiritual power, attracting souls ready for awakening, and bending circumstances through the sheer force of aligned consciousness. He taught that these abilities are not supernatural gifts reserved for a chosen few, but the natural inheritance of any human being willing to undertake the disciplined work of awakening their inner magnetism. Yogananda taught that awakened magnetism eventually develops where the individual becomes a channel for divine grace, through whom infinite intelligence pours into the world. The ultimate irony is that when you stop pursuing blessings and focus on awakening magnetism, blessings become inevitable. When you stop manipulating reality and learn to broadcast coherent consciousness, reality naturally aligns with your being. Your inner magnetism awakens through gentle, consistent practice of aligning consciousness with truth, love, and the infinite potential constituting your deepest being. You arrived here today carrying the weight of 1,000 no's from the universe, or so you believed. You came believing that blessings were reserved for others, that your struggles were your destiny, that somehow you were fundamentally different from the souls who seem to move through life effortlessly, attracting everything they touch. But in these moments we have shared, something has shifted within you. You now understand that every limitation you have ever experienced was not your curse but your teacher, not your punishment but your opportunity. The universe has not been withholding blessings from you, it has been waiting with infinite patience for you to awaken to the magnetism that has always been yours, broadcasting your signal into a receptive cosmos that stands ready to respond. Yogananda spent decades in meditation caves in modern cities, watching souls of all backgrounds undergo this identical awakening. He discovered that the difference between those who receive and those who remain in scarcity is not luck, not intelligence, not circumstance. It is this one essential understanding, that you are not a victim seeking favor from an indifferent universe, but a conscious creator already generating the reality that surrounds you. The moment you absorb this truth, not as information but as lived experience, your entire being reorganizes itself. Your thoughts begin to align differently. Your emotions begin to resonate at higher frequencies. Your choices begin to reflect a consciousness that recognizes itself as divine, powerful, and magnetic. But understanding and embodying are not the same. This knowledge you have received today is like a seed. It contains infinite potential, but only soil, water, sunlight and time will transform it into a living plant bearing fruit. The practices Yogananda taught are not suggestions or optional additions to your spiritual life. They are the conditions necessary for the seed to germinate. Every meditation you skip is fertile ground left unwatered. Every moment you choose constructive thought over habitual complaint is another ray of sunlight reaching the seed. Every act of service, every prayer of devotion, every visualization of your magnetized future is the soil in which transformation takes root. The universe is waiting not for you to believe more intensely, but for you to practice more consistently. This is the moment where everything changes, not because anything external will alter, but because you will begin to alter from within, and the external world will have no choice but to respond. You are standing at the threshold between the you who arrived carrying those 1,000 no's, and the you who will leave this video broadcasting a frequency of irresistible yes. That threshold is not mystical or distant, it is here now in this very instant. The only question is whether you will cross it, whether you will commit to the practices that transform consciousness, whether you will tend to the seed of magnetism that Yogananda has planted within your awareness, whether you will become the person who does not seek blessings but becomes a magnet that blessings cannot help but approach. If this message has stirred something within you, if you feel the presence of a truth that transcends myriads, then you understand what must happen next. Share this revelation with another soul who carries their own burden of no's, for in gifting them this knowledge, you amplify your own magnetism tenfold. Comment below and tell us what is the one belief about yourself that you are ready to release today. Subscribe to this channel and join a community of conscious creators who are awakening together, who are meditating together, who are building their inner magnetism and transforming the world through their radiance. Like this video as an acknowledgement to yourself that you are ready to cross that threshold. Because the universe responds not just to intention but to the clarity of your commitment, and every action you take now signals to yourself and to the cosmos that you are serious about becoming the conscious creator you were always meant to be. Your blessings await. The only question is whether you will step forward to receive them.